If you have very few friends, or none at all, you've probably asked yourself a painful question. What's wrong with me? You see people laughing in groups, making plans, posting pictures together. And sometimes you feel like you're standing outside the glass watching life happen without you. But psychology says something uncomfortable and powerful in many cases. People with few or no friends are not broken. They're not socially incapable. They're not failures. Their mind simply works differently, and that difference comes with traits that are rare and often misunderstood. Let's break them down. You have almost zero tolerance for fake energy. Some people can sit through gossip, small lies, fake smiles, and social politics. You can't. You feel it immediately. The forced laughter, the passive-aggressive tone, the subtle competition. Your brain picks up on micro-expressions, inconsistencies, emotional shifts. Psychology shows that people with high self-awareness and strong internal values tend to reject inauthentic behavior quickly, not because they're arrogant, but because it feels exhausting. You would rather sit alone in silence than pretend to enjoy a conversation that feels fake. And here's the hard truth. Most social circles survive on performance. You survive on authenticity. That automatically shrinks your circle. You crave depth, not noise. You don't hate people, you hate shallow interaction. How's the weather? What's up? Did you see that trend? You can do it, but it drains you. Your brain naturally moves toward deeper questions: why do people act the way they do? What drives insecurity? What makes life meaningful? Why do we sabotage ourselves? Research in personality psychology suggests that people high in introspection and openness prefer meaningful exchange over surface-level bonding. You don't want 20 acquaintances. You want one conversation that changes how you see the world. And because depth is rare, connection becomes rare. So you stay alone, not because you're antisocial, but because your standards for mental connection are high. Social interaction costs you energy. After hanging out with people, do you feel tired? Not bored, not angry, just drained. Some nervous systems are more sensitive. Psychologists sometimes link this to high sensory processing. Sensitivity. You process tone, facial expression, subtext, body language, while others skim conversations. You absorb them. That takes energy. Extroverts recharge socially. You recharge in solitude. So you limit interaction not out of fear, but because your social battery is smaller and more valuable. You're not weak. You just know your limits, and you protect your energy. You're deeply independent, sometimes too independent. Here's something most people won't admit. A lot of friendships are built on emotional dependency, validation, attention, fear of being alone, but you learned how to sit with yourself. You can think alone, solve problems alone, entertain yourself alone. Psychology calls this low social dependency. You don't need constant reassurance to feel stable. That makes you look distant. But the real question is, are you independent because you're strong, or because you stopped expecting support? Be honest with yourself here. Independence is powerful. Isolation is different. Sometimes the line between them is thin. Your trust is expensive. If you've been betrayed before, ignored, replaced, or misunderstood, your brain remembers. Trust isn't automatic for you anymore. Psychology shows that once trust is broken, the brain raises what's called a trust threshold. People now have to prove consistency over time. You observe longer, test behavior quietly, notice patterns. You don't open up easily, and yes, that protects you. But it also slows down connection. Here's the hard truth. High standards protect your peace. But if they become walls instead of filters, they protect you from good people too. If you have few or no friends, it doesn't automatically mean something is wrong. It might mean you value authenticity. You crave depth. You guard your energy. You're independent. You protect your trust. Those are rare traits. But don't romanticize loneliness either. Being selective is strength. Avoiding connection out of fear is not the goal. Isn't to have many friends. The goal is to have aligned ones. And sometimes people with strong minds walk alone for a season, not because they can't connect, but because they refuse to connect cheaply. The question is, are you alone because you're rare or because you're hiding? Be honest, that answer changes everything.